Good day, everyone. Before we start, I would like to introduce myself. I am Jovelyn L. Angos. My instructor, Miss Shalabi Kaginban. Oral report in the Child, Adolescent, Learner, and Learning Principles. Week 1. Unit 1. Basic Concept and Issue on Human Development. Topic: Human Development, Meaning, Concepts, and Approaches. So, human development. A number of research of human development has been conducted. A lot of theories on human development have been forwarded. Research on human development contains new as existing theory get corrected, complemented, or replaced. Up to the present, several issues on human development are unresolved, and so the research for explanation continue. In this unit, we will be acquired the human development as such as process, the developmental tasks, and along with each in developmental state and relevant issue that are raised about human development. So, human development is defined as the process of enlarging people from freedom and opportunity and involving their well-being. Human development is about the real freedom ordinary people have to decide who to be and what to do, how to live. So, physical domain. First is physical domain. Physical domain, many of us are familiar with the height and weight charts that pediatrician consult to estimate of if babies, children that and teens are growing within normative range of physical development. So, physical domain focus on the development of the child body. Physical skills are important for growth, physical coordination, and movements of the body. Cognitive domain. Cognitive domain, if we watch and listen to infants and toddlers, we can't help but wonder how they learn so much so fast, particularly when it comes to language development. This then as we compare young children to those in middle childhood, there appear to huge differences in their ability to think logical about the concrete world around them. So, cognitive domain is involved knowledge and the development of intellectual skill. So, physiosocial domain. Physiosocial domain development in this domain involved going on both physiologically and socially early on. The focus is on infant and caregiver as a temperament and attachment are significant. So, social domain continues across adulthood, similarity but different because they are different of both middle and late adulthood. Two approaches. Two approaches to human development. What are the characters of the lifespan? So first, development is lifelong. So meaning it does not end in adulthood. Not development stage dominate dominates development. So second, development is multidimensional. Multidimensional development consists of biological, cognitive, and socio-emotional dimension. Third, development is plastic. Development is possible throughout with lifespan. Fourth, development is contextual. Meaning individuals are changing being in a changing world. Fifth, developments involve growth, maintenance, and regulation. So, growth, maintenance, and regulation are three goals of human development. The goal of individual vary among developmental stage. For instance, concern with growth get into the back stage while maintenance and relation take the central stage. Learning principle of child adolescent developmental that inform practices. So below are the principle of children development are learning, which are the best of developmentally appropriate practice. In early childhood program for children from birth through age 8, which are started in the position paper of the National Association of the Education of Young Children in 2009. Week 2, Stage of Development. Topic is the stage of development and developmental. So, concept digest. So, introduction. For every development stage, there is an expected developmental. So, every develop is different developmental. So, first, prenatal period. Prenatal period from concept to birth is involved tremendous growth from single cell to an organism completely with brain and behavioral capability. So second is infancy. Infancy from birth to 2 years. It is a time of extreme dependence on adults. Many physiological activities are just beginning: language, symbolic thought, sensory motor, coordination, and social learning. So, early childhood. Early childhood, ending of infancy to 5 to 6 years. Grade 1. These are the preschool years. Young children learn to become more self-sufficient and to care for themselves. Development schools readiness and skill and spend many hours in playing with peers. Middle and late childhood, 6 to 11 years old of age, elementary school year. The fundamental skills are reading, writing, and arithmetic are mastered. The child formally exposed to the large world and its culture. Achievement become more central than of the child world and self-control increases. Fourth, adolescent. Adolescent is 10 to 12 years of age, ending up to 18 to 22 of age, begin with rapid physical changing, dramatic gains, and height and weight changes in body contour, and then development of sexual characteristics such as enlargement of the breast, development of the pubic and facial hair, and depending the voices, and early adulthood from late teens or early 20s lasting through the 30s. It is the time establishing personal and economic independence, career developments, selecting a mate, learning to live with someone in an intimate way, starting a family, and rearing child. Middle adulthood. Middle adulthood, 40 to 60 years of age. It is a time of expanding personal and social involvement and responsibility, of assisting the next generation in becoming competent and mature individuals, and reaching and maintaining satisfaction in career. And late adulthood, 60 years and above, it is a time of adjustment to decreasing strength and health, life review, treatment, and adjustment to new social rules. Week 3. Week 3, research in child-adolescent development. Unit 1. Topic is teacher as a consumer and user of research. Teacher as a researcher. The method, research design, data gathering techniques. So first, research as a teacher as a consumer and user as a researcher. So research giving teacher as also policy makers important knowledge to use in decision making for the benefit of learner and their families. Well information teacher is able to use and integrate the most authoritative research to finding. So the scientific method. Scientific method is one important principle in research is inherent to the scientific method, since research is a systematic and logical process, such as researchers basically follow the scientific method. So these are the steps of scientific method is identify and define the problem. Second is determine the hypothesis. Third is collect and analyze data. Fourth is formulate in conclusion. Fifth, apply conclusion to the original hypothesis. Week 4. Week 4, Unit 1, Developmental Theories, Other Relevant Theories. So, topic is Sigmund Freud Psychosexual Theory. So, psychosexual theory, these are called psychosexual states because each state represents the friction of labor. So, Freud believed that life was built around tension and pleasure. Freud also believed that all tension was due to build-up of libido, sexual energy and that all pleasure comes from its discharge. So the three components and personal adjustment. So first is id, which exists from birth and it is most prominent in the newborn. It is related to the individual's most basic needs and wants, such as the desire for food. The ego. The ego is the relational constitution part. It begins to emerge later in infancy and helps the children relate to the realities of the environment and the constraints imposed by others. So the superego can be thought of something like the conscience. Ideally, it acts of guide to behavior. The role on conflicts. Each of the sexual state is associated with particular conflicts that must be resolved before that individual can successfully advance to the next stage. The resolution of such as these conflicts requires the expended at a particular stage. The more important characteristic of the stage remain with individual as he or she mature physiologically too. Physiosexual state of development. So, physiosexual state of development. You can remember that order of stage by using the old oral age: anal, pensioner, phallic, love, talent, grapes, and genital. So first is anal. Anal stage 0 to 1 year in the first stage of personality development. The libido is centered in a baby mouth, and anal stage 1 to 3 years old, the libido now become focused on the anus, and the child that delivers great pleasure from defecting. Second is phallic. Phallic stage 3 to 5 or 6 years. Sensitivity now become concentrated in the genitals, and masturbation in both sexes become a new source of pleasure. And latency. Latency stage is 5 or 6 to puberty. So no further physiosexual development takes place during this stage. Talent means hidden. So the libido is dormant period through the most sexual impulses are repressed during the talent stage, and sexual energy can be sublimated. So genital stage, puberty to adult. This is the last stage of your physiosexual theory of personality development and begins in the puberty. It is the time of adolescent sexual experimentation. The successful resolution in which is setting down in loving one-to-one one-to-one relationship with another person in our 20s, sexual instinct is directed to heterosexual pleasure rather than self-pleasure like during the phallic stage. So, week 5, unit 2, topic Piaget stage of cognitive development. So, Piaget stage development is because he was interested in how knowledge development in human organism. Piaget was initially into biology, and he also had a background in philosophy. Knowledge from both those disciplines influenced his theories and research of child development. So, basic cognitive concept. So, schema, Piaget used the term schema to refers to the cognitive structures by which individuals intellectually adapt to and organize their environment. It is an individual way to understand or create meaning about all things or experience. It is like the mind has a feeling cabinet and etc. First is assimilation. Assimilation, this is the process of fitting a new experience into an existing or previously created cognitive structures or schema. If the child sees another dog, this time is little small one, he won't make sense of what he is saying by adding this new information. So, second is accommodation. Accommodation, this is the process of creating a new schema. If the same child now sees another animal that looks a little bit like a dog but somehow different, because he might try to fit it into his schema of a dog and say, "Look, mommy, what a funny looking dog." So, third is equilibration. Piaget believed that people have the natural need to understand how the world works and to find others, structure, and predictability in their life. So, Piaget stage of cognitive development. So, first stage is sensory motor stage. The first stage corresponding from birth to infancy. This is the stage when a child who is initially reflexive in grasping something and researching become more organized in his movement and activity. Sensory motor focus on how prominence of the sense and muscle movement through which of infant come to learn about himself and the world. Stage 2 is pre-operational stage. The pre-operational stage cover from about 2 to 7 years old, roundly corresponding to the preschool years. Intelligence at this stage is in nature. At this stage, the children can now make mental representation and is able to repent. The child is now ever closer to the use of symbolic. This state is highlighted by the following. First is symbolic. Symbolic state, a symbolic function. This is the ability to represent object and events. Second is egocentrism. So egocentrism, this is the tendency of the child to only see his point of view and to assume that everyone also has his same point of view. Centration. Centration, this refers to the tendency of child to only focus on one aspect of a things or event and exclude other aspect. For example, the child is represented with two identical glasses with the same amount of water. This example of pre-operational stage. So, second is irreversibility. Pre-operational child still have the inability to reserve their thinking. They can't understand that 1 to 3 example is 5 but cannot understand the 5, 3 is 2. Animism. Animisms, this is the tendency of children that attribute human-like traits, thinking, or characteristics to inanimate objects. When the night, the children ask where the sun is. Example is, she have replied, Mr. Sun is asleep. Transductive reasoning. This refers to the pre-operational child's type of reasoning that is neither conduct or deductive reasoning, appears to be particular to particular. For example, since her mommy comes home every day around 6 o'clock in the evening. Stage 3, concrete operational stage of this belong of concrete operational stage. Of first is decentering. Decentering, this refers to the ability of child to perceive the different features of object and situation. No longer is the child focused on limited to one aspect of the or dimension. Second is reversibility. Reversibility is during the stage of concrete operation, the child can now follow that certain operation can be done in reverse. Reverse in mini reverse is, for example, that can be already comprehend that the communicative property of addition and the subtraction is the reverse of addition. They can also understand that a ball of clay shaped into a dinosaur again roll of back into ball and of clay. So third is conservation. Conservation, this is the ability to know the certain property of object like numbers, volume of area do not change if there is no changing in appearance. Because of development of child, ability of descending are also reversibility. The concrete operational child can how judge rightly that the amount of water and taller narrow container is still example of conservation. Seriation. Seriousness refers to the ability to order or arrange things in a series based on one dimension such as weight, volume, or size. That is an example of seriation. Stage 4. Stage 4 formal operation stage. So formal operation stage in the final stage of formal operation covering age between 12 and 15 years, thinking become more logical. They can now solve abstract problem and can hypothesize. This stage is characterized by the following is: first is hypothesis reasoning. Hypothesis reasoning, this is the ability to become with different hypotheses become about a problem and to gathering and weight data in order to make finally decision or judgment. This can be done in the absence of concrete objects. The individual can now deal with what if questionnaire. So analogical reasoning. Analogical reasoning is the ability to preserve the relationship in one instance and then use that relationship to narrow down possibility answer in another similar situation or problems. Deductive reasoning. Deductive reasoning, this is the ability to think logically by applying a general rule to a particular instance or situation. For example, is country near the North Pole have cold temperatures. Greenland is near the North Pole, therefore Greenland has cold water. Week 6, Unit 2. Unit 2, developmental theories and other relevant theories. So, topic is Erik Erikson pursue social theory and development. Concept is Erikson was German-born analyst who learned about only for the field work, but also from his study of secures and Indians. He says Erik is from Indians in the United States. So, in each development state, Erikson said, a central conflict or pressure social crisis, but be faced and new skill acquired in the process. So, the ability in individual is to resolve the crisis successful, the more likely he or she is to experiences healthy development in the future. His states follow the epigenetic principle according to which biologically ordered plan must be followed systematically from an individual to develop fully. Okay. Erikson described the following 8 stages. So first is trust versus mistrust. Trust versus mistrust. From birth to 12 months, the infant from a loving, trusting relationship with a caregiver which in turning from the foundation from the expectation or the world as secure and pleasant place to live. Number 2 is autonomy versus shame. 1 to 3 years old, infant and toddlers begin to explore their world and assert their independence. Unsuccessful resolution of this stage may be led to feeling or shame and self-adopt. Third is initiative versus guilt. 3 to 6 years. The preschool need to rely on active, purposeful behavior more and more as their environment presents new challenges and demands more environment responsibility. Success combined with challenge lead to sense of accomplishment. Children may be develop guilt and they are too assertive, irresponsible, or they made to feel to accuse. Number 4, industry versus inferiority. 6 to 12 years old, the school-age children must learn to deal with demand to learn a wide range of skills, including the task of information schooling. If he is or she is able to learn these skills, it can lead to feeling or failure and incompetence. 5 is identity versus role confusion. So, 12 to 18 years old, the primary task that this developmental stage is the formation of sense of development, identity with regard to such things or opinion, etc. Intimacy versus isolation. Young adult. At this stage, individuals face the task of forming intimate relationship with others. If the individual is successful, he or she able to form healthy relationship and intimate relationship with others. If not, social and emotional isolation could result. 7 is generality versus stagnation, middle adulthood. The focus of this stage is parenting by generativity. Erikson means helping the next generation to develop and lead useful lives. The feeling or having done little or nothing to help develop and support the next generation in stagnation. 8 is integrity versus despair. Late adulthood. If the adulthood is individual has been successful in resolving the crises associated with early stage. When he or she look back or he or her life, that is the 8 stages of following erection. Week 7, Unit 3. Development theories and other relevant theories. So topic is Nelverd theory or moral development. So in concept, the 8 moral development. So Harvard believed that moral development depend on moral reasoning and was learned in 3 levels each 2 states. So the first are pre-operational reasoning moral, reasoning directly initially by the expectation of punishment from First is pre-operational reasoning moral, reasoning direct initial by expectation of punishment from external sources, and later by an interesting impersonal reward. So second is conventional reasoning. Initially to great approval and later in responses to law and a sense of their duty, and post-conventional reasoning, moral reasoning guided by community versus individual rights, and later by an universal principle of ethnic. So this is the introduction of 8 stages of theory of moral development. So week 8 is topic is Vygotsky, socio-culture and cultural theory. So concept is believe the parents, caregiver, peers, and the culture of large suites responsible of development high order function. According to Vygotsky, learning has its basic in interacting with other people. Once this is acquired, the information is then integrated on the individual level. So this is the scaffolding is Vygotsky terms from the appropriate assistance given by the teacher to assist the leader accomplish of tasks. So Piaget and Vygotsky is the theory around them the same time as Piaget in between the 1920s and 30s, but they had care different in their difference in their views about cognitive development. Since Piaget was taken up already in the proceeding, it will be as Piaget's more individuals in focus believe that there are universal states of cognitive. Vygotsky is more social in focus, do not propose state but emphasize on culture factors in cognitive development, stress the role or language in cognitive development. So social interaction, Piaget's theory was more individual while Vygotsky was more social. Piaget work on Piagetians thus focus heavily on how individuals' cognitive development become evident through the individual own proceeding of the task. Vygotsky whose their hand gave more weight on the social interaction contribution to cognitive development of individuals. For him, the social cultural factors believe in the social rules that culture play on the cognitive development of child. Language is open the door for learning to acquire knowledge that others already have. Learning can use language to how and understand the world, solve problems. Zone or proximal development. Recall your answer in the how that skill cannot be learned instant for the young ones. It is need and guidance from the parent, teachers, of other, etc. Week 9 is bronze. Week 9 is Bronfenbrenner illogical theory. Ecological theory concept is this illogical system theory was developed by Bronfenbrenner believed that personal development was affected by everything in the surrounding environment. He divided the person's environment into 5 different levels. First is abstraction, different level, 5 different levels: the microsystem, the mesosystem, the macrosystem, and chronosystem. So, abstract. Bronfenbrenner model, also known as the biological system theory, presents child development within the context of relationship system that comprise. First is microsystem. Microsystem is the system closely to the person and one in which he has direct contact: family, school, or its neighbor. This structure covers with child immediate environment. The mesosystem. This layer serves as the connection between the structures of child microsystem. For example, the mesosystem will include the link of connection between the parents and teacher, or the parents and health community and the church. Third is the ecosystem. This layer refers to the bigger social system in which the child does not function directly. And the macrosystem, this layer is found the outermost part in the child's environment. And the these are the abstract biological system. Week 10, Unit 4, Development of Learning at Birth Stage. Okay. Topic is prenatal period. So, concept. All the developmental theories which as lengthily discuss of how to prevent and how to avoid it. So first stage of prenatal development is divided into 3 periods: germinal and embryonic and fetal. So germinal period is from conception to 2 weeks. Prenatal development that takes place in the first 2 weeks after conception. It is include the creation of the cutaneous cells, division, and the attachment of the uterine wall. So this is example of prenatal germinal period. Embryonic period, 2 weeks, 2 months. Prenatal development occur 2 to 8 weeks. The zygote will become embryo, meaning it is the organ or cells are convert the embryo. It is the process or organ formation during the first two months or prenatal begin. The three layer of the cell. So first is endoderm. So endoderm is the inner layer of the cell. Become the digestive and respiratory system. Ectoderm. Ectoderm outer layer of the cell becomes the nervous, sensory receptors and skin part. Mesoderm. Middle layer. Development into circulatory, skeletal, muscular, excretory, and reproductive system. So, as the three layer of embryo form, the supportive system for embryo development rapidly is first is placenta. Placenta, a life support system that consists of this shaped group of tissue in which small blood vessels from the mother and the offspring intertwine but do not join. Here. Second is umbilical cord. Umbilical cord contains two arteries and one veins are connects the baby to the placenta. Amnion is a bag or envelope that contains a clear fluid in which the development embryo. Fetal period lasts from about 2 months after conception until 9 months when the infant is born. Dramatic course and organ system mature to the point in which life can be sustained outside the womb. So, teratology and hazard to prenatal development is the field investigating in case of congenital birth defects. It's that which causes birth defect. It comes from teratogene. The word tera means monster. Below the cultures of hazard to prenatal development. So first is prescription and non-prescription drugs. Okay. First is diet pills. Second is aspirin. Third is coffee. Third is physioactive drugs. So, physioactive drugs is a pregnant woman who drank caffeine were more likely to have preterm deliveries and newborn with lower birth weight compared to their counterpart who did not drink caffeinated coffee. Heavy drink by a pregnant one result to the so-called is fetal alcohol or syndrome. Environmental hazard. Environmental hazards include radiation in job site and X-ray. X-ray, environmental pollutants, toxic waste and prolonged exposure to heat, saunas and bathtubs. Okay. Maternal factor. Maternal factors are developed fetus depend entirely on its mother for nutrition. It is recognized that maternal nutrition during pregnancy by result to inadequate growth or the fetus. 5 is paternal factors. Paternal factors that can adversely affect prenatal development include exposure to lead, radiation, certain and pathogenic chemicals. Older father may place their offering at risk of certain defection. Okay. Unit Week 11, Unit 4. Topic Physical development of infant and toddlers. Okay, concept is we have just traced the developmental process before birth. Let us continue to discover the developmental process by following the infant to newborn up to when the research reaches age 2. The periodical and comes after prenatal or antenatal stage. So for cephalocaudal and proximidistal pattern. Cephalocaudal trend is the postnatal growth from conception to 5 months when the lead grows more than the body's. This growth that applies to the development of the fetus also applied in the first month after birth. Proximodistal trend is the prenatal growth from 5 months to birth when the fetus grows from the inside of the body outwards. This also apply in the first month after birth are shown followed by that of the hands and fingers. That is the concephalodical and proximidistal pattern. Height and weight. Height and weight is the normal of newborn babies to drop 5 to 10% of their body weight within the couple of weeks of birth. Breasts of babies are typically heavier than bottle feet. In general, an infant's length increases by about 30% in the first 5 months. Brain development. Brain developments among most dramatic changes in the brain in the first 2 years of life are the spreading connection of dendrites to each other. Motor development. Along this aspect of motor development, infants and toddlers begin reflexes to gross motor skill and fine motor skill. These are under the reflexes the newborn has basic reflex with are, of course, automatically and reserved on several machine before they have birth. Fine motor skill. are skills that involves a refined use of small muscle, controlling the hands, finger, thumb. The development of this skill allows one to be able to complete tasks such as writing, drawing, and etc. Unit 4, Week 12. Topic is cognitive development on infant and toddlers. Concept digest. So, babies are not only growing physically during the first 2 years of life, but also cognitive every day while they interact with and learn about their environment. They are creating new connection and pathways between nerve cells both within their brains. First is sensorimotor development. The child go through a period of dramatic growth and learning as kids interact with the environment. Second is object permanence. The term object permanence is used to describe child's ability to know the objects continue to exist even though they can no longer be seen or heard. Language development. Here are just a few of important things your child might achieve in language development between 3 months and 8 years. And 3 to 12 months, in this period that baby will most likely go and laugh, play with sounds and begin to communicate with gesture like waving. Okay, learning and remembering. Do infants learning and remembering? Yes. Conditional have been proven to apply in infants. All of us experience infantile amnesia, the inability to recall events that happened when we were very young. So, language is 0 to 6 months watches primary caregiver intently as the speaker of his or her. 7 to 12 months understand no, point to family member when asked to do so. 13 to 18 months point to 5 body part of him, herself when asked to do so. And 19 to 24 months is point to 5 names, picture object when asked to do so. That is an example of learning and remembering. These are the example of the language and pre-reading and math. There is example of the cognitive domain. Week 13, Unit 5. Week 13 and Unit 5. Topic is socio-emotional development of infants. Concept digest. So, concept digest is it is said that the importance of the first 3 years in human development, they are so called the formative years, where areas the parents caregiver as significant role. Attachment for healthy socio-emotional development, the infants need to establish enduring emotional bond characterized by tendency to seek and maintain closeness to a specific figure, particularly during stressful situations This is the social phenomenon of attachment. Supporting socio-emotional development for infants and toddlers. Each infant and toddlers develop at his or her own rates. Socio-emotional development is depend upon ongoing responsive relationship. In addition, the socio-emotional milestone you can review, that is the example of supporting social emotional development for infants and toddlers. Strategy about emotion and emotional expression. Infants and toddlers learn about emotion and expression of emotion through their interact with others. Strategy learning, play, and friendship skills. Infants and toddlers are learning how to interact and play with others. That is an example of socio-emotional and of infant and toddlers. Week 14, Unit 5. Topic: Preschool physical development. Concept digest. So, the preschool year is commonly known as the year before formal schooling begins. It really covers 3 to 5 years of age, although it is known as the year before formal school. It is by no way less important than the grade school. Abstract is from the activities you were able to see a glimpse of preschool physical development. They love to move. They enjoy being in activity. They are also interested to work with their finger like blocks. They have a more balanced stance than toddlers. Big ideas about the physical development of preschool. First, number 1 is there are significant changes in physical growth of preschooler. Second is the preschool can express themselves artistically, at a very important for the preschooler. Third is the preschool physical development is marked by the acquisition of gross and fine motor skill. Fourth is proper nutrition and the right amount of sleep. Fifth and caregiver and teacher can do a lot in maximizing the growth and development of preschool. Sixth is preschool with special need in the classrooms can thrive well with the adaptation with made in classroom materials and activities. Significant change in physical development. Physical growth increase in the preschool year, although it is much slower in pace than infants and toddlers hood. At around 3 years of age, preschool move slender appearance. Gross and fine motor skill. Gross motor development refers to acquiring skill that involve the large muscles, and locomotor are those that involve going from one place to another. Non-locomotor ones are where the child stay in the place. Manipulative skills are those that involve projecting and receiving others. Objects like throwing, scratching, bouncing, catching, and dribbling. Fine motor skill refers to acquire the ability to use the smaller muscle in the arms, hands, and finger, and purposefully. Preschooler artistic development. First is drawing. In early childhood is drawing, and stage 1 is scribbling stage. This child begins with large zinc line and which later become circular marking. Stage 2, prismatic stage, makes already include early representation, very significant when discussed about cognitive development. Stage 3 is schematic stage, more elaboration, scenes depicted. Children usually grow from experience and explore drawing. Gross motor skill is 36 to 48 months. That is the throwing ball overhead with control of direction. Throws or ball with control of friction. Fine motor skill is consistently turning page of books, one page at a time, looking at picture with interesting. 49 to 60 months. Copy simple is different basic shape. Personal care and hygiene. There are different personal care and hygiene in the child when she was going school. There are different type of. First is pour from picture with spillage. Feed sleeve using sponge without spillage. Dress without assistance except for buttons and tiny lines. Week 15, Unit 5, Topic Cognitive Development and Preschool. Learning outcomes. Describe that the cognitive development takes place among preschool. So, introduction. Someone wrote in the journal, childhood is a world of miracle and wonder, as if creation rose, battle in light, out of darkness, utterly new, fresh and astonishing. The ending of childhood is when things cease to astonish us, when the world seems similar, when one has got used to existence, one has become an adult. Brain connection in the preschool year. Brain connection in the preschool year because of the fascinating development in neuroscience. Brain development of young children has been of great interest to the field of early childhood. Language development. Young children understanding sometimes get ahead of their speech. As children to grow, through early childhood, their grasp of the rules of language increase. Fast mapping. Fast mapping is a process by which children absorb the meaning of a new words after hearing it once or twice in conversation. Language and social interaction. Lang, uh, Vygotsky believed that young children use language both and communicate socially and to plan, guide, and monitor their behavior and self-regulator version called inner speech of private speech in Soundtrack 2002. Zone approximate development refers the task difficult for child to master alone but can do master with the guidance and assistance for adult or more skilled children. More knowledge. Other can think of way or scaffolding preschool to help them reach optimum cognitive and language development. Information processing, theory, attention, and memory. The infant's processing model is another way of examining and understanding how children develop cognitive. These models are conceptualized children's mental processes through the metaphor or a computer processes encoding, storing, and decoding data. That is the last stage of cognitive development. Thank you, and that's all.